again, and welcome to 8.6, surface areas of prisms and cylinders. So just a reminder that area is not just flat, okay? It is the flat surface, but when we talk about 3D figures, which we'll review some of those, we're talking about the area on all of those surfaces. So what does the word surface really mean? Well, it means a boundary of a three-dimensional figure in math, but in life, a lot of people will talk about a surface when they're talking about the outward appearance. So you've probably heard someone say, well, on the surface, they look like they're a nice person, but once you get to know them, they're not very nice. You know, they're kind of ugly on the inside. Well, the Lord calls us not to be just surface Christians. Romans 10:10 says that Christianity is an interchange of your heart. Okay, and 2 Corinthians 5:17 says that without your heart, believing in your heart, that you are not righteous. Okay, you are not a new creature created in Him. So just a little challenge here in geometry class. Make sure you're not just a surface Christian, right? Make sure your outside matches your inside. So let's talk about geometry. This is two pictures, one of a polygonal prism. The polygon here looks like a hexagon, so a hexagonal prism. And then on the other side we have a pyramid with a polygonal base, which is a square. Just hoping these pictures make some sense to you, because these are drawn as though they are clear. They're made of plastic or glass and we can see through them. You know, in real life, a pyramid, you can't see the dashed lines from the perspective that we're looking at. So it's a little bit tricky, but hopefully we're moving on with the pictures. Okay, so officially we have some formulas to talk about. The surface area of a prism is the sum, which means we're going to add, the sum of the lateral surface area and the area of the bases. So remember, on a prism, I have a top and a bottom, and then the lateral, which is the big L there, is going around the edges. Okay, so if that, on the last slide, that hexagonal prism was standing on one of the prisms, the lateral area would be all of the rectangles that were around the outside. Okay, now the lateral surface area of a right prism is the product of its height and the perimeter of its base. Okay, so this is a prism, and the drawing looks more like a cube, so you have to pay attention to the numbers that are labeling our height, our length, and our width. So what we're going to do here is we're going to lay this prism out. Think of it like a box. Okay, it's a rectangular prism, and we're going to lay this out kind of flat. When we draw a picture like this and we lay this box out flat, the 8x4 rectangles at the top and at the bottom that kind of look like they're out of place, those are the bases. Okay, so that's the top and the bottom of the box or of the prism. Okay, and then you have your lateral sides that unfold here. So this picture is called a net, N-E-T, and it helps us if we can draw a net of the figures that we're trying to find. Sometimes it'll help us figure out what the area of the surface is. So if I look, I'm going all the way around 8 by 4 by 8 by 4. I'm finding the perimeter of one of the bases, okay, and it's going to be 24 inches. Alright, so now we have the surface area of a cylinder. Okay, cylinder is the sum of a lateral surface, again, and the area of the bases. Now remember, with cylinder is just like a prism, except the bases are circles. Okay, so the surface area of a right cylinder is the product of its circumference and height. So once you find the circumference, you actually have the width of the lateral surface area. So let's look at what that looks like. Okay, so here's a cylinder. Now, its height is 9. The radius of one of the circles is 6. And we know it's a right cylinder. They actually drew the little right indicator there for you. So officially, we have the lateral surface area plus 2 base area is going to give us the whole entire outside of this cylinder. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the lateral surface area formula with circumference times height. And I know circumference is 2 pi r, and height is still going to be h. And I know that the base are circles, and to find the area of a circle is pi r squared, and I have 2 of those. So now I'm just going to start plugging in some numbers. I know my radius is 6, I know 6 squared is 36, and I know my height is 9. So there's all my parts, and now I can just plug it out. And since I have 108 pi and 72 pi, I can combine those to 180 pi, and that's approximately 565 square units. 180 pi is the exact answer because pi is an irrational number. Now for your whisk summary, I have 3 practice problems for you. So I want you to try to find this figure. Now the bases are not a polygon, right? But it is a closed curve, and I'm telling you what the area of them are. Look really carefully. The perimeter is 23 around, and the area is 20. The height is 11. So go ahead and label this figure before you figure it out.